For a very long time, rail travel in Kenya between the port city of Mombasa and the capital city of Nairobi relied on the over century-old railway line built by the colonial British in the late 1800s. The train running on this line was nicknamed the Lunatic Express. The journey, covering almost 500 kilometers, would often take close to 16 hours between the two cities. The train was unreliable, slow, and old. Taking the bus was not always reliable. Flying was expensive, and trucks would not clear containers from the port fast enough. To fix this, the government of Kenya decided to build a modern railway. The new rail would serve both passengers and freight trains. The standard gauge railway project, popularly known as the SGR, was big and expensive. At an estimated cost of $3.6 billion, it was dubbed the biggest infrastructure project in Kenya since independence from Great Britain.
The standard gauge railway is the country's biggest project since independence. The first phase, which runs from Mombasa to Nairobi, costs about $3.8 billion. There has been massive criticism against the Kenyan government. The question on many Kenyan taxpayers' minds is, was the project worth it?
So, what would make a developing country spend that amount of money? Well, Kenya has some goals to meet. In 2008, then President Mwai Kibaki launched an ambitious development plan known as Kenya Vision 2030. The country aims to be an upper middle income country by the year 2030. Among the 10 key sectors of focus, infrastructure is one. The standard gauge rail was among the first major projects to be executed. When a country has efficient infrastructure, it fuels business growth and in turn the economy grows. The government of Kenya understood that the existing infrastructure between Mombasa and Nairobi was ineffective. For example, the port of Mombasa is key. It serves inland Kenya and also other nearby landlocked countries like Uganda, South Sudan, and Rwanda. Better infrastructure would ensure goods are moved more efficiently and faster. The Kenyan coast also serves as a key tourist destination. Easy movement of people means more tourists and in turn a positive economical impact. After a lot of deliberation, the project was launched in 2013. The Kenyan government funded 10% of the cost and the rest was funded through loans from Exim Bank. 25,000 Kenyans were hired by the contractor China Road and Bridge Corporation. On June 1, 2017, President Uhuru Kenyatta launched passenger service for the Madaraka Express. The train was named after the annual Madaraka Day holiday that commemorates when Kenya attained self-governance from the British. Travel time by train between the two cities was reduced to only 4 hours and 30 minutes. The express train departs in the afternoon and the inter-county train that stops at every station departs in the morning. They say there is no hurry in Africa, but this train leaves on the scheduled time. Tickets are available to purchase on the Kenya Railways website. The train has two classes, first and second. One-way tickets cost 3,000 Kenya shillings for first class and 1,000 Kenya shillings for second class. The cabins are very clean and the staff does a superb job maintaining it. All the stations are a masterpiece and very modern. Travelers have to begin their trip to the station early to get there on time and also allow time to go through the strict security in place. The trip between the two cities is very scenic as you travel through Tsavo National Park where you are likely to see some wildlife. The journey was listed among 13 of the most remarkable rail tours in the world by the Telegraph. Major projects are always faced with criticism and other challenges. The railway project in Kenya was not immune to this. The main area of scrutiny was the $3.6 billion cost, which most Kenyans called overinflated to facilitate corruption. Multiple international sources also criticized the project cost, pointing out that Kenya was slipping into Chinese debt trap. In fact, towards the end of 2018, there was widespread news that Kenya had defaulted on the loan and was going to lose the port of Mombasa. The government of Kenya came out stating that the port was safe. International observers have also stated that the project is not viable and will never return capital or turn in a profit. The truth of the matter is, only a few transit systems in the world are profitable. Most of them are private and have diversified investments in other sectors. $3.6 billion is still a lot of money. According to a Kenyan corruption tracking website, the country has lost close to $80 billion to corruption or misuse of funds since 2014. Think about that number. Almost $80 billion lost in thin air in the last 5 years. Even though expensive, most Kenyans are happy about the SGR project as they can see and benefit from the final product. A bus trip from Nairobi to Mombasa typically takes between 8 to 12 hours on a good day and can cost between 800 Kenya shillings to 1500 Kenya shillings. On a bad day caused by heavy traffic due to different factors, that trip can last up to 24 hours. Traveling by plane takes 45 minutes and tickets can cost anywhere between 5,000 Kenya shillings to 10,000 Kenya shillings one way. This option is not economical for many Kenyans. One-way ticket on the train, which takes 4.5 hours, costs 3,000 Kenya shillings for first class and 1,000 Kenya shillings for second class. In this case, the train has become a more economical and convenient option for many people. The train is also considered a safer option as opposed to the recklessly driven buses. Other positive impacts have been the creation of an extra 2,285 jobs for staff members working on the train and at the train stations, increased industrialization and urbanization, reduced cost of doing business due to the ease of moving goods. There has been a surge in local and international tourism. According to the Kenya Tourism Board, bed occupancy has increased to more than 90%, up from 50% in previous years. The SGR has disrupted the bus, trucking and even the air travel industry between the two cities. It has become the preferred mode of passenger and goods transport. 2 years after launch, the passenger trains had transported over 3 million people. According to the operator, daily service averages over 90% occupancy. Phase 2A, which is an extension of the rail from Nairobi to the town of Naivasha, is almost complete. There are also plans to electrify the line in the future. So, for now, if you ever find yourself in Kenya, try the Madaraka Express.